love, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I got hustle, though ambition flow inside.
Come back to that.
All right, so we have another this or that. All right, you ready? Another one for fun. All right, you ready?
Not yet. Now I am.
Okay, this or that. Would you rather protect legacy or build new stories?
Uh,
Yeah. Ready?
yes.
Ah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You want me to go first, or
Yeah,
do
yeah,
you
you go
want to?
ahead. You go ahead.
All right. So, I mean, I think we already said it. I think it's the case I've already laid out because the legacy that I'm protecting, it is a legacy. It's already done. It's happened. But because the legacy of the people, um, they didn't have a voice. So I consider myself that voice. Not me alone. I mean, there are others doing stuff equally as good as this, even better. Um, but I'm doing my part. But it is that legacy. But in protecting that legacy, we have to project the people. We have to bring them from there to here and present them to the public. Let them know that they were real. Give them names because for so long we've been taking the easy way out. And that easy way out is for them not to exist in the story that's being fed to you at these sites that you go to take in whatever attracted you to that site. And the thing that attracted you to that site is that nice, beautiful big house. If it's a plantation, and they sell you that glorified story of what happened in the walls of that big, beautiful big house. Now, if they tell you that that beautiful big house is because of the stolen labor of those people in those slave dwellings, then there was a period in history where that took away from that diminished their story. You know, that made these enslavers the barbarians that they were. And that's the story that they don't want told, or that was in the past. But now, more recently, there are folks like myself and others who've come before me who are making sure that the element of the stories of enslaved people are being incorporated into these larger narratives. And we were doing so well, and we were making so much progress. But then there was an election. But I'll put a period right there.
Okay, now the both side because there is uh protecting legacy or building new stories. So you said both. So you just explain why you chose protect legacy. So now the other side of it, which is building new stories. So why did you say both?
Well, it's the new stories that will have to be built because as you've got the examples. You got two. You got a
Mhm.
two sons. They have to be told the story, and they have to be that has to be delivered to them by whatever means they have to take it in. And to take it in, we have to put it out there because if we don't put it out there, somebody else is out there telling their stories, and if they're telling their stories in what reached me at their age, then that's not a good place to be.
Right.
So we ourselves have to learn to those systems because we got to be front and center and available to them also. If they put false stuff out there, and I know AI is a thing right now, and it has that capability when it's not used properly. But I know that when used properly, you can counter, all that negative stuff and make sure that the truth is at least available and accessible.
Right.
So that's our part.
Right. Correct. Okay, so now the reason why I said both, I was thinking about it uh in the same way you're thinking, but also when it comes to us, um, and our personal relationship too, I need to throw that in there. So protecting legacy or building a new story. the legacy that I have was not a legacy that I wanted to pass down, to my two boys. So I wanted to figure out what my legacy was, because the legacy that I had experienced and the one that I was supposed to pass down, I don't want to pass that down. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to pass that down to them, for them, with them, about them, none of that. So I did not know what my legacy was. So I had to go on a journey to figure out what it was. Okay. Then the building new stories part, I kind of look at that like what we're doing too. So it's like if I had to do either or, if I had to protect the legacy that I had, or do I want to build a new story? I would say both, because um, the legacy that I found out that I have now, I would want to protect it. You see what I'm saying? But I don't want to put all my energy on protecting what was in the past or what I had. I also want to put energy into building a new story too. So like the legacy would be not knowing who you were. You see what I'm saying? All that. But like now it's we can build a new story now.
Yeah, it's
That's another way, to think about the this or that. It could be on a personal level, and I would say that's why I would say both. Like I wouldn't put more energy into protecting a legacy, and I wouldn't put more energy into building, a new story. I think it would have to be like a balance for me. So yeah,
yeah,
that's my reason for saying both.
yeah,
Mhm.
and part of that both is what we do together.
Mhm.
A lot of that both is just that. So, how we move forward from this point, is our legacy
Mhm.
um together that we started creating 3 weeks ago. So,
Yeah, yeah.
and here we are.
Yeah, and to add to that too, because I know one thing I remember that stuck with me that you said was that it's not about what didn't happen. It's about what can happen now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So, if you want to say get technical, like our legacy would be I don't have a father, right? But that's my legacy. But that wasn't the legacy that I wanted. Like I said, I don't want to pass that down to them. So now we're building a new story. So it wasn't
yes,
about what wasn't, it's about what can be now.
yes,
All right.
yeah.
So, all right. You want to say anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right. Now, do you think your work preserving history made it easier or harder to process this personal reunion?
I think it made it easier because what I learned very very early on when I started sleeping in slave dwellings, I always admired genealogists because a genealogist told me very early on. Her name is Toni Carrier. Tonicarrier is her name. I said, Tony, guys, I really admire what you're doing because I don't have that kind of patience. That's like tedious work. I can't do that. She said, Joe, you just do what you do. She said, you save the cabins and we'll put the people there. And then as I continued to do what I was doing, it was right around the time that that information was coming around that proved that Thomas Jefferson was indeed the father of Sally Hemings' children. Because there was all this pushback that they were getting about that. There was this element of people that says, no, this can't be. This is not the case. But then the DNA proved otherwise. Um, and it was because I have this knowledge of what DNA can do, or what DNA can prove or disprove in some cases. I think that made it easier for this moment. So here we are.
Yeah, I would agree, and I can say without giving away too many details, that that was the general consensus that we came to about you. Yeah, so Yeah, that was the general consensus. But yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
that would be a good thing to see how you felt and if you agreed that when you got that phone call from a genealogist, um, was that the reason why it was easier for you to accept the findings of her results?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because they've got that thing attached to their name, this thing of to me of authority. Again, DNA is DNA. Family is family. It depends on what you do with that information from the point that you find out forward as to how both of you are going to live your lives. Are you going to live it in denial, or are you going to, accept the fact of responsibility and move forward with that? So this is all a part of that. And also, one thing that I've been prompted to do, I have an invitation to do, is, get in front of audiences. Well, in audience, I don't want to oversell this thing. Uh, I've been invited to get in front of an audience and tell our story. And I'm considering heavily in doing that. I got to give these folks an answer within the next day. So I think the opportunity for us to show the potential of what these kinds of relationships can be, I think that's a good thing.
All right. All right. We got another this or that. You ready?
Yes.
All right. This or that before we close it out. So, would you rather show love through words or show love through presence? Presence. CE, not with the TS. With
Oh,
the
presence. See,
yes,
that's different.
presence. That's why I clarified it.
And what was the first choice?
Show love through words, like by saying it.
Oh,
Ready?
yes. You see that?
Got that one. It's like if we was taking score, I think we've been on point. If we was taking score, then we got the same amount of points. I think through presence. Okay, you go ahead because you're the guest.
Presence is important. That's that's why I show up for the ancestors. That's why I go where they were. I know they were. That's why I go where they physically were the last time they were here on this earth. And I show my presence to them, and I bring I bring them forth. Your presence is what we're doing. We're having these conversations. That's presence. Of course, there are words involved, but I think the presence is certainly much more, as equally important, if not more. Um, so there.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I said through presence because I'm not I'm more of an action person. I like to show things more than I like to say it. In the end, that's also the way I like to receive it too. So even just us having the conversations that we're having is presence. It's just the presence is like the being there, or like knowing somebody pretty much. It's almost like knowing somebody is going to be there for you or have your back. And so
Yeah,
that was a lot of what was missing. In my childhood. And I tell you that, like the only constant person was my brother. He was my brother, and I knew he was gonna all, no matter even if he was in another state, like we still, had that, that bond, that connection. So now, this is a brand new connection and a brand new, relationship that we're building, and I feel like you're doing good in that area, when it comes to being present because even though we're doing it what is it digitally, you still show up when you say you're going to show up, and if you I say if life happens, like, you communicate, that, hey, life is happening. So we'll do this, but we'll have to do it in a different way type thing. So I do appreciate that, that ever since you found out that you have been putting forth the effort to be present, because I'm not used to that. So that's one, when I say roller coaster ride of emotions, that's all a part of that, but it's like in a good way. Me not being used to it in a good way, if that makes sense. But so
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like it's like once you found out, like you showed up, so, and I feel like you deserve to know that, because it's a lot of bad talk when it comes to, like black male fathers, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, our story is not that story. So yeah, I feel like you have to give honor to whom honor is due when it comes to that, because it's like ever since you got that phone call, uh, you reached out. You needed time to process, of course, and then you had to tell your current family, we'll say, you had to talk to them, and that was only proper, But as soon as you got the phone call, I feel like you reached out, and there was a discussion. I can say this without giving away too much about the book. That was I guess like a anxiety, a fear of mine was like, okay, how much time is it going to take, from you knowing to when you're going to actually reach out? But in my opinion, you reached out immediately. You see what I'm saying? So um, that helped us get to where we are now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
A good friend of mine said there's going to be therapy, or there should be therapy involved. Um, that's something I've never done. I'm not saying that I won't, because I think we've already had that discussion. And I'm receptive to all that, because this is a place I've never been.
Mhm.
So there.
Yeah. So there's always something new that can be learned. There's always something new that can be learned. Every day is an opportunity to learn new things. That's why I call myself a lifelong learner. That's what I always call myself, and I always tell my students that it's a good thing to be a lifelong learner. And that is one thing I can say about you too that I have learned thus far, is that you're very open to learning new things, which is not usually the case with people from your generation. So, but I have been very I say happy, I guess, with the fact that you're open to learning new things. Like you're not just like stuck in, okay, well, I've been doing it this way all this time, so hey, it's been working for me. But you are very open. You're very open to learning new things. Okay, now to close us out, what do you want our future conversations and this podcast to give to others?
Well, just as I'm published, I wrote a book. Um, but you wrote several books.
Hmm.
So, I want folks to learn you through your book, through your writings, just as they'll learn about me through my book, through my writings. So I want them to merge these two in that manner, and then think about the fact that at some point in the future, we're going to put all those talents together, but it's going to be based on what happens from 3 weeks ago up until the time the book's written. So there.
All right. Yeah. Well, I would say, what do I want them to learn and what do I want to give to others? Well, the whole reason why I started this podcast actually was because I wanted to, share my story and I wanted to help other people. Um, because I just didn't want people to feel like they were alone in whatever they were going through. And so that's why I called it Gumbo for the Soul. It's because one thing I did learn actually is crazy. But the reason I came up with the name Gumbo for the Soul is because when I was in social studies class, my fifth grade social studies teacher, we were, she let us do a lot of hands-on projects in there. So I loved her. Her name was Miss Culbertson. I don't know where she is now. I don't even know. I have no clue where she is now. But anyway, shout out to Miss Culbertson. So she made learning fun, right? And so even though I had already read the textbook, I was still excited to go to class every day. And because we always did these projects. And one project that we did was a project on what they're called indigenous people now. but I picked the Iroquois. And so we had to do like a project, like a diorama type project, and bring it to class and present it. But one of the other things I remember about that class was in the textbook, it said that Louisiana was considered a gumbo, like a gumbo pot. And they also said not only is Louisiana like a gumbo pot, but also the United States is like a gumbo pot because it's like a melting pot with all types of people from all different backgrounds. So just like Louisiana is full of people from all different backgrounds, the same way with the United States. People came from all different countries to come to the United States. Basically, they were running, some people running from things, some people trying to start things, but everybody came from somewhere else. And that is how we get the United States. It's like a big melting pot full of different people and different personalities, but we all have learned how to work together and get along. And that's why we're called the United States. Of course, we know there's an undertone to what I just said, but as a fifth grader, I believe that to be true, that we were all working together and we were the United States. But that's how I came up with the name Gumbo for the Soul for my series, because I was like, we're all different people. We all have different characteristics, right? But we have to learn how to work together and get along, even, despite our differences, we have to learn how to work together and get along. So I was like, that's why I named my series that with my books. And that was also why I started the podcast, because I was like, I know I'm not the only person out there that's like me. I know I'm not the only person with my history or my background, but maybe I'll be the only person that will actually, talk about it and speak about it. And, by me speaking about it and talking about it, I can help other people. And so I kind of feel it's crazy, for lack of better words, that you've been talking to people, speaking to people, on big stages. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I've been doing it on this platform, my social media platform, and in my classroom, but you have been doing it for like years on like a bigger, on a bigger stage, a bigger spectrum. But it's like I was like you said, like a digital footprint, but it was like I was like walking in your footprints and like didn't even know it. So that's why I keep saying crazy, because that's the best word that I could think of about like all the parallels, when it comes to, our relationship. But yeah, that's what I would like for this podcast, to give to people, is that, because I talk a lot about my history and my childhood. And my childhood was not pretty, but I also want them to see, now, basically be a part of my journey the whole way. Not just be in my journey where it's not pretty, but also I want them to be a part of my journey where it's turning into a pretty journey now, if that makes sense. So that's what I want everybody to get.
Well, I think I used the term somewhere along the way, healing out loud.
Yes.
And I think that certainly what it is for both of us. So there.
Yeah. But okay, so you said something about my books, right? And you have written a book. Okay, so you want to talk about your book? Talk about it?
Yeah. So slave dwelling project, sleeping in slave dwellings around the nation. I've been doing this since 2010. So I've been doing it for 15 years. So in the 10th year of my sleeping in these slave dwellings, I co-wrote a book. The book is called Sleeping with the Ancestors: How I Followed the Footprints of Slavery, co-written with Herb Frazier. Herb Frazier's 4 times published, not as much as Charity though. So I sent the book to Charity, and she picked it up today, and she's going to open it right now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go
So
ahead.
here we go.
If I can get it, look, if I can get it open. This is a book right here, and I was all excited when I got it, and I didn't want to wait, but I had said that we were gonna open it together. Oh, and I will talk more about this, but I told him this envelope has sentimental value to me now. Oh, look. It's called
There's the book.
Sleeping with the Ancestors, How I Followed the Footprints of Slavery by Joseph McGill Jr., founder and executive director of the Slave Dwelling Project, and Herb Frazier.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you can pronounce. Yeah, you can pronounce the H. It's Herb.
Okay, Herb. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you for my book.
right. And there's an endorsement in there.
Okay. Let me find it. Oh, I don't know if I want to read this out loud.
That's your choice.
I think I want to save it for the book. Yeah, I think I want to save it for the book. But thank you though. That's bringing a tear to my eye.
All right.
Oh, I think I'll go ahead and read it. I think I'll let them in. It says, to Charity, Donna is smiling on you. Let's grow together. July 22nd, 2025. Joseph McGill Jr. Oh, that means a lot actually.
So now you know what's going to have to happen now
Mm-hmm.
is you got the hardback version of the book. The softback version of the book has a teacher's guide in it. So
Oh,
I'm going to, now that you've met Herb Frazier,
uh-huh.
I'm going to have to get him to sign a softback version, and I'll sign it again.
Yes.
And
Uh-huh.
you have a softback version with both our signatures.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Another,
welcome.
another, I don't know. I guess I have to get my brother, I guess, to come in here and take a picture before we get off of here. Me with my book. But yeah, I just lost my yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. All
Yeah. And
right now.
at some point in one of these episodes, I'm going to be unveiling your books.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should have all stack of them and to go
Uh-huh.
through all
You
three
can
of
hold
them.
them, you
And
can hold them up like this.
yeah, I'll do
Yeah.
it. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, all
Uh,
that. Show them all, your whole library.
yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So um this was just the beginning of something sacred. Two generations linked by blood, now bound by purpose. If today's episode stirs something in you, whether you're searching for your own family, healing from generational silence, or just wanting to connect with an untold story, this space is for you. So be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on this journey. And like he said, we are co-writing a book together. And if no one's told you today, it's not too late to find what's yours in truth, in healing, or in history. Until next time, this was Conversations with My Father.